This is Anime at Large.
And this is the show, guys. Welcome, and my name's Ed.
Nicole.
Jessica.
David.
Reed.
And we're talking about food. Yes, food this time, guys. So,
Food's great.
yeah. Are you ready for the food, guys? Foodgasm? Oh, no, it's not this time.
That's our next episode.
Oh, yeah.
But food is wonderful and should be eaten.
Yes.
And
And
not
talked
waste
about.
it.
Extensively talked about.
Yes.
Never waste food. If you're going to throw it out, save it for later.
Or just give it to
Leftovers
David.
are great. Or give it to me. I'll eat it.
Unless it's like moldy or something, then you can compost.
Hey, there you go. Cycle continues.
Mm-hmm.
Never waste food. Moral of the story.
It's almost like the Sailor Moon says. Just an
Don't sit too
offset.
close to your TV and watch your anime in a brightly lit room.
No, that's Fairy Tale.
No, that's a lot of shows, and just
But
fairy
Fairy
tale.
Tale does do that at the
Yeah,
beginning.
Hayate the Combat Butler did that too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never watch my anime in a brightly lit room.
I forgot Hayate did that. I
Yeah.
haven't seen that in so long.
Yeah, I finished that somewhat recently.
But this isn't shows about food.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with that.
I'd say
So
there's food in it.
Well, yes, so does Fairy Tale, but
So is every anime. What anime doesn't have food?
yeah,
It's like, you mentioned Sailor Moon. That girl was always snacking.
yeah. Usually someone's either drinking, at the very least, someone's at least drinking tea in a show.
that has a bamboo floating upward for good luck.
It's not bamboo.
I thought it was a
That's
tea
a tea
leaf
leaf.
stalk or something.
It's a tea
Am I
leaf.
okay?
Yeah.
All right, I guess. So Nicole, what's the show?
Well, you didn't say the show. You normally
Yeah.
say the show.
Yeah, you
I'll
always
say the show.
introduce it.
It's Restaurant to Another World. And the Western restaurant, Nekoya, is a restaurant situated in a mundane corner of an undiscovered Tokyo shopping district, which offers a lot of Japanese versions of Western dishes. It opens during unusual business hours, though closed during holidays and weekends. But secretly, it's also open on Saturdays. As on this particular day, it creates doorways to another world, inhabited by elves, dragons, animal men, and other fantastic creatures who enter the restaurant to partake in its exotic food, which many of them become regular patrons. So yeah, as the name describes, it is a restaurant to another world, but apparently only on Saturdays.
The door's very finicky. It has standards.
People are more free on the weekends.
Is it Saturday in the other world? Or
I don't
is it
think
just Saturday
so.
at the
I
restaurant?
think it's just Saturday on the Earth side.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they just say 7 days, because I'm assuming the other world doesn't have the same days of the week as we do. So they're just like, every 7 days it's open.
Yeah.
So I think they're like, it's open on Saturdays. They're like, what's Saturday?
They refer to
7 days.
as the day of Saturn. Is that just on purpose, or is that just
It's just cycle people in and out, kind of.
okay? But I mean,
situation.
is the day Saturn for the other world or the Earth world? That's
That's what I don't understand. Like, is it Saturday here, but is it there Tuesday? Because
or
also, how many worlds does it go to?
their day of
I always
Saturn.
assume just one. Because it seemed like these people were from the same world. Because some of them actually interact and were like, oh yeah, that country. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna argue against that. The fact that there's a door in the moon.
Oh no, that's true.
Says otherwise.
That's true. I forgot about the door to the moon to the dragon.
Still within the same
But
solar
that
space.
dragons didn't
but
always live on the moon.
Right, she is from
But it
that
was
other
there.
world.
Indeed, true. There is a
Before.
door there.
That moon probably is that planet's satellite. So maybe it just pops up on that planet and its satellite or satellites.
But if it is on that moon, I think that does say it could be other worlds as well.
and this comes one of the most difficult aspects of this show, is the inconsistencies of how these doors even possibly function.
So I guess if you're looking for actual plot through this show, you won't find it here.
But you will find a lot of good imagery of food.
Yes.
It'll be like flipping through a cookbook. You'll hear people describe it. It'll be like watching a Food Network channel, but you're not going to taste it.
Well, you don't
Well,
taste
you
it
don't
on the
taste it
Food
when you watch
Network
Food Network
either.
either. Or the Great British Baking Show, which everyone loves. You haven't watched it yet.
No.
The
If
only
you watch
way
it,
to
you'll
taste
love
food
it.
is if it's there
Don't worry.
in front of you.
Well, I did want to say there's stuff about these doors that. So essentially, almost every episode involves someone in some type of predicament, to say the least, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Randomly stumbles upon a door, and then that's how they find the restaurant. And for the most part, these doors will just show up as the plot needs it to, or them just stumbling upon it, just out of pure curiosity.
Oh, for some of them, they know. Because
Yeah.
the doors don't,
Yeah.
they're always there.
Yeah.
It's just they only on certain days that they open
Mhm.
to that restaurant.
I thought they just randomly appeared.
No, they're
No,
always there.
They're always the same consistent ones.
Yeah, but I thought it was like it'll show up and then like disappear for the rest of the week. 'Cause I thought one person tried to actually find the door and they're like, "It was here. Where is it?"
Yeah.
But he didn't come on the right day, so the door wasn't actually physically
That
there.
was that
Yeah.
guy who I think was up in the cabin who built the cabin around
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, what'd you bring me here for? It's just an empty cabin. Why did we walk all the way out here? And he's like, oh, you'll
It's
see
like-
soon.
I think I think there's always like a doorway there. It's just the door to the restaurant appears within that doorway. Cause
Oh,
like,
because I thought it like sometimes appeared just in the middle of like,
Oh, yeah.
like here's a desert. Hey,
Yeah.
look, there's a random door here right now.
in
Let's open it.
space, it was just on a rock.
Yeah.
In the cellar, it was just in the middle of a cellar for the merchant.
yeah. I don't know. It is weird. Magic. Don't question the magic.
But the thing is, there's plot lines, like one involves there's a stranded captain of like a ships that were guarding merchant vessels, and he gets stranded. It's a very Wilson, like I've been gone for 20 years. And on the island, he finds a restaurant, and that keeps him sane through these 20 years or so. And never once does it occur to him, like, since he knows other people show up at this restaurant, to maybe tell the chef, oh, I'm trapped in an island. Could you maybe tell someone else to help find me? Or why he didn't try and leave with another person through their door. And the show will never entertain that line of thought.
Well, maybe you can't. Maybe you always, like, even if you go through someone else's door, you leave where you
It
came
still
from.
pops you out
And
of yours.
I feel like if that was the case, they probably should have showed that at least in the anime to like.
Yeah, it would have been
Acknowledge
useful. Like, why don't you just stay for a week in the human world? Especially for the people who can blend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he actually was a human, so he could have.
Those are some of the weirder things too. Whatever city outside the capital that Aletta lived, the one waitress,
Mhm.
was filled with humans, but they lived in the demon lord's territory, but they don't like demons, which was sort of
Confusing.
that was
Yeah.
an odd choice. That didn't really make a lot of sense when I thought about it, but that's really my only gripes of this show, or just some like the magic politics stuff didn't.
But usually,
Yeah.
when there's issues, it is the lack of logic with magic.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just say, it's magic, it goes by its own rules, and they don't try to actually set up the rules for the magic in the story.
Or at least be like consistent with it.
Yeah, that's a bane for a lot of fantasy.
But the
So-
thing is, we're talking about food here, and what brings people together from all sides? Usually, again, food. So when you go into an establishment, what's the last thing you'll remember?
Politics.
Politics.
I'm
And
stranded on an
Stranded on an island, or like your race.
I think he definitely remembered, because that chef usually sends those people home with extra food.
That's true. They would go home with extra, like, hey, can I order something to go? Yeah.
But, like, since it is magic, there's a lot of things that magic can explain. Like, maybe as soon as that restaurant goer leaves, the chef has to immediately forget about them until they return
maybe
again.
The island guy, I thought he didn't mind being on the island because he liked going to the restaurant.
And
so
I
he
agree
knew
with
where
you
the
there.
door was.
That's why he had like no real drive to.
Yeah,
leave.
it's like, yeah, but I can just stay here and at the
Just
restaurant.
But the
once
fact-
every
The
7
food
days.
was just that good.
But the fact that like other people
Eat a
showed
fish.
up, or like the one who was the Colosseum slave, the one who had to fight through like 100 battles or something to win so much to buy back his freedom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why neither of those just.
Stay.
The restaurant seemed to be a really like get out of jail free card.
Yeah,
that no one like used.
it does. I would think I would have tried to at least stay in the restaurant overnight. Be like, can I just stay here?
I mean,
and then like,
Like for a week
Aletta
or
did it.
something.
yeah, she does. So like, why can't you like? Can I just stay? I don't want to fight anymore.
It's like I'll work for you. I don't care.
Do you need a bouncer?
But since this was a door to many other worlds, magic could work differently in the different worlds too. So, the inconsistency that there could be because magic works differently in this world as opposed to this world.
Do you think they all spoke the same language, or do you think the door kind of just was a universal translator?
I think it's a universal
Because I know
translator.
they couldn't all read the same thing,
Yeah.
and he did have some of the older patrons like help him
yeah.
with translating, being like, "Hey, this is how you would say it in your language." But if there's a written language that's different, it seems like there should also be spoken difference. Plus, it's two totally different worlds, so the likelihood of it having the same language is totally unlikely.
It's
So, translator door?
Japanese is the universal language.
Oh,
just
of
like-
course.
That's a secret to this whole thing.
That's the
yes.
secret to all isekai
Oh
shows.
man, now it makes sense.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes, thank you.
there was a handful of shows I want to say that did like magic away that aspect on purpose.
No, mostly they do say that they're translating at times too.
Not like
so-
translate, but like the first episode they won't be able to understand them, and then there's some like
Oh, Devil's
You know,
a
like-
part timer.
there's that
Yeah.
like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like fish in the air.
I mean,
Yeah.
that does make it a lot easier. But yet the mouth flaps always match exactly what you hear.
I'm just saying.
That's what
Japanese
I'm
is
always
the
amazed.
universal language.
It should all look like bad dubbing.
because
It'd be a lot funnier that way.
It would be.
Right?
The one time they can get away with it.
We'll just have somebody like speak something and then just have them like dub over it, and that is how it should look to somebody who doesn't speak the language.
English dubbing companies are just that good, though.
But it would make the show so much funnier if just like, oh yeah, this little thing's translating for me. It's not going to visually change what the mouth is looking like.
Yeah, usually true. Yeah.
that or the restaurant owner and his staff just know every language.
Well, it's only him and the one girl.
Yeah.
For the most, there was that one towards the end. It was closer to get the.
Well, they got
the dragon.
The dragon.
Yeah.
But I expect a dragon to know multiple languages because the long lived and
Yeah, the stereotypical like
By
yeah,
the time
wise
we're
and wisdom.
seeing the show, this restaurant guy has been seeing these patrons forever.
Yeah,
so
like
he
his whole
could
life, 'cause it-
know.
was his
Grandfathers, I think.
grandfather's. Yeah.
How much do we want to talk about spoilers later on? Or
Let's
is it-
just talk about food for
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about food.
Like, still, honestly, there's not much on this.
There's not a
spoiler
lot.
list.
Yeah. So
But
But
there
the little
is.
that gets sprinkled at the end to
Yeah.
just like
So what did you
tie
see
it
in the
together.
show that you most wanted to eat?
They usually made the visuals pretty tempting.
Yeah.
there
No.
was the one the half elf girl thing
The parfait.
who had that amazing looking parfait. I would probably
Yeah.
try that.
I'd try that.
Yeah.
I probably would have tried anything, even though I don't eat meat. Like that pork cutlet definitely seemed like a good meal.
I would just get the whole menu.
Tofu steak.
Yeah, I think like every week I would just like try something else.
Yeah.
But I did like that the patrons were very realistic in the, we'll try the things, but I have my favorite that I'm going to order every week.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think we all do that at restaurants. Like, this is the thing that I, for some reason, got once and decided, I like this, so I'm going to keep getting it.
Yeah, familiarity. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a thing.
Because
Every-
Ed just wants that melon soda float.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you go to every restaurant, if you got your favorite that is really good, it's really filling, and for the best price, you're gonna get that 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Unless like, I don't know.
They take it off the menu.
Yeah.
And then you just are like, now what do I eat?
Just-
Any of the other dozens of things that's on the list.
Just like the seasonal Blizzard flavors at Dairy Queen.
Hey,
What
they-
is your seasonal flavor?
It was
That's
an Oreo
like-
cookie jar this entire summer, and they took it off. I thought I couldn't get it, and then Sean, my roommate, just asked for it without it being in the menu. They just made it specially. I'm like,
So that's a
You
secret.
just can't get away from those Oreos.
The Oreo cookie jar was... No, sorry, just the cookie jar. It was not even Oreo. It was just the cookie jar was top of the line.
What was in it?
Cookies in the jar.
Wow. Such
so
a secret.
descriptive. You would not
Like chocolate ice cream, there was like cookie chunks and how like a bit of like fudge was swirled into it. It was tasty. Which is probably why I really want that parfait from this show.
Mm-hmm.
Except Japanese parfaits have like everything, and you're just like, I don't even know what half
Yeah.
these things are, but they make it look delicious.
Right?
Lots
Look at
of
these
edibles.
fruit shapes that are like stars and moons, and it's so pretty that I don't want to eat it. How do I eat this? Get
Yeah.
in my belly. They're delicious.
Like, where do I even start with this parfait?
Wait, like it's as big as my head.
Why are there sparklers on it? I don't know, but it looks amazing.
This can't be up to fire code regulations.
Yeah.
Well, I think for any, book or story, if the author does a good job, they make you want to eat every single thing that they
Yeah.
showcase in there.
Yeah.
Like, I was a huge fan of the Red Ball book series when it was coming out. These are the woodland animals that are eating nuts and berries that I would never eat, but for some reason, every time they had a meal, a feast, I want all those roasted chestnuts. Like, I hate chestnuts.
You might die.
Well,
No,
I'm
it's
not allergic to
peanuts.
chestnuts, but every time they have like roasted almonds or honey chestnuts or whatever, it's like I want those.
Mm.
So I guess
Yeah.
the question is, was there anything that people didn't want to eat that we were showed on this menu?
I could have skipped the egg dishes.
Oh,
Well,
There's a
other
lot of
than
those.
just
Oh,
despite
yeah.
allergies and
preferences.
Looking
yeah.
at them and hearing them described, you still didn't want them? You know you can't eat them.
I don't
It's like
know.
the
That
forbidden
almond
fruit.
one was sort of a strong no for me.
Wow.
The allergy is too persistent. You're like, nope.
Yeah.
the allergies are strong with this one.
Some things are
Yeah.
mortal enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't
Always your
know.
enemy.
There is no food item that I know of that is my mortal enemy.
Yeah, same here.
Like, I hate fish, but sometimes on those shows when they show fish being cooked, I'm like, that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You're like, I'd consider trying that.
Right, like, if I could smell that and be like, whoa, this just tastes amazing.
The one
I could do
dragon's curry.
Oh,
The
the
black
big,
one looked
yeah.
really good, actually.
just to get a whole like can
Yeah,
of
just-
it.
Pour it straight onto the rice that looked good.
And she got to take it home.
Yeah.
That was so nice that he would just be like,
Oh,
yeah,
like-
here's the container for this week.
I appreciate the Lizardman arc and just how he always brought like food home for like the rest of his tribe at the end, and like that was always
He was a
nice.
good provider.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to eat 10 of these, and then I'd like to bring 10 home.
Yeah.
He
Not for
was
me,
good.
but for the people. But I ate enough for myself.
He was the champion. He,
Yeah.
should be able to indulge.
Yeah.
But it was very nice that he was like, okay, gotta take some home to my people.
In all these arcs, like everyone always ate like 3 or 4 dishes. I sort of relieved when the fairies came on; they could only eat like 1 dish.
But you're like, oh, so people can eat normal.
Normal portions.
You
I
know,
mean, unless these plates
Oh,
were like
sorry.
a lot smaller than we thought.
Wait, you're saying that you can eat 3 plates in the restaurant like they can?
No.
that's tough. I have to be like absolutely starving and not eat anything like at least a half a day.
No, I cannot eat that much food.
No.
See, they're setting unusual expectations
Like-
on
like
the show.
one plate,
Maybe
that's
these
enough.
people are like so active that they really build up their appetites. But then again, that seems like the like highlight of their lives is every week they can do this. So they
Yeah.
probably are like, going to get as much as I can.
Yeah, I think that would make the most
Some
sense.
most do probably just burn a lot. Like the guy in the Coliseum probably just burns a lot if he's fighting every day.
That dragon probably burns a lot of calories being a dragon.
Yeah.
Just being
However,
a dragon, yeah.
being a dragon works in that show.
That's
Well,
the
at
other
least
thing,
she could take
too.
human form.
She
mean-
could, but does that mean the death magic thing that got turned off? There was these
Well,
little just
maybe the death magic doesn't transfer over to the restaurant because the restaurant is not within a magical world.
but then
I think the door cancels it out.
the angels
Yeah.
song still carried over in their magic and caused everyone to fall asleep.
Well, their magic is different. I don't know. Maybe
It's
it
not
cancels
death-
out dragon magic,
It's
but not angel
death
magic.
This isn't magic that will kill you, just put you to sleep. Are you trying to rotate your screen so you can watch?
Apparently,
Says
David
the
can do.
husband.
Yes.
Anyway, but yes, that food. Oh my gosh, that food made me hungry whenever I watched it. Even if I was eating, I'm like, I wish I was eating that instead of whatever I just made.
See, that's the main point of the whole show. Is like, ooh, the food and how they
Yeah.
present it.
It's to
And that's how you
inspire
do good.
the rest of you to cook. If that was the goal, I think it succeeded.
It kind of told you a little bit on how the
Oh,
guy made it, but
Yeah, it was
It's not
barely,
really-
though.
Wasn't it like at
Yeah.
the end? Didn't they have like the recipe or something?
yeah. Towards the very end, they did.
Right, so you could actually like make it if you wanted.
But the thing is that do most people stay until that point, though? Is a good question.
It was pretty short blip though. Like say
Yeah.
on different did you ever see the one about the husband who made alcoholic drinks for his wife?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
They always gave you the recipe at the end
That
of
is true.
every chapter or anime episode in this case. And I was kind of surprised that Restaurant in Another World didn't do something
That
more
detailed.
similar to it.
Yeah.
Well, making an alcoholic beverage
I
is
know, it's
usually
pretty-
much more simple than cooking something like curry, even though curry isn't that hard.
Well, depending
But
on the
there's a
person,
lot more
but yeah.
ingredients. 'Cause how many ingredients are there usually to an alcoholic beverage? 5.
Probably.
Yeah, the give or take. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really experienced in that sort of thing, so.
But yeah,
Well-
usually it's not like, oh, here's 10 different ones. Like it is like, oh, here's these 10 different spices with curry, depending on
Yeah.
what nationality of curry you're making.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's the spices, there's the vegetables, there's the
Yeah.
protein, there's whatever you dissolve all of that into to make a sauce.
Right.
In many ways, I think I really do want more of an educational anime for, like, cooking. But I'll have to wait. Someday that show will exist.
There is a live action show that will give you an entire recipe on how to cook a show, or how to cook a
How,
meal.
how do you cook a show?
Ah, ideas, guys. Ideas. Cook a
'cause I
show.
know- Yeah. I don't know if that'd work out. But on Netflix, there's an Asian show. It's like 15-minute episodes called Cravings, where a girl comes home and just cooks with whatever she has in her fridge.
That's ideal.
That's assuming you had things in your fridge, though.
Well, if you're gonna survive, you better have something in
I-
your fridge
Right.
or go to the store to get it.
I like the ones that have, like, a spin of just, like, what you either have on hand or what you're reasonably going to find. Not just...
Right, like usually like, oh, I'm not going to have this like high grade meat in my fridge. It's like, oh, here's some chicken breasts
Like-
or
Well,
pasta.
The only time the girl in this show got to cook like a meal with good high quality ingredients was the time where she opened her neighbor's mail and made Mao Pao tofu with mail that was not hers. That was like grocery delivery. She's just like, well, I already opened it, so I'm gonna cook it. She replaced it the next day.
well, that's good, but still.
Like, I remember one of my favorites was, I think it was called Take Home a Chef, which the whole idea was that you just met a professional chef just in the grocery store, just in an aisle. He's like, oh, I'll just come home with you and cook with you. And look, that was a great idea.
Oh, that's a great show right there.
I want more
Yeah.
shows like that.
You want your life to be like that? Oh, you're gonna come make my dinner? Okay.
Well, like, he actually, like, showed you how. And it was... They actually went through the steps.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, oh, here's dinner sort of thing.
So
Yeah.
you essentially got a chef to come home with you and give you a cooking class.
Oh, yeah. It was like,
Okay.
you get like a half-hour lesson. That was the idea. Obviously edited down to be like a 22-minute block, but
Right. Because who really wants to watch somebody stand around for 20 minutes?
yeah, weighing as this water boils here. Intense
That's
stuff
when you
here.
have preps to do. You know, you gotta cut up your veggies or your meat or get your, saute going or...
Well, that's why also in a lot of cooking shows, you see them, okay, this is how you do this, but then they already have one that's already done.
Yeah.
So once they actually like okay,
Yeah.
this prep is done, but I already have one that's already finished.
Right.
So now we can keep going to the
Because
next
it's gonna
step.
take an hour to cook. So here's this amazing roast,
I don't have that problem. You don't have to cook fake meat for that long.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do want some tofu steaks now. That does sound good.
Just
I
out of
don't. I have no idea what a tofu steak would even taste like. What
How-
did he flavor that with?
Oh, what did we flavor it with?
tofu to me at least tastes like mashed pasta, like pasta just got like
I
collapsed
think of
and
it as
squeezed
more like
together.
the consistency of eggs. So when people are
He
like,
doesn't know the
I
consistency
don't know
That's
the
of
true.
system of eggs,
That's
so mashed
true.
pasta.
Mashed
some
pasta is
people are
eggs.
like, oh, it's a meat substitute. It's like, no, it's not. It's like an egg substitute, if anything.
Okay.
The only good thing about tofu is it takes on whatever flavor you marinate it in
Yeah.
or cook it with.
Blank canvas.
Yep.
So if you want to cook it with garlic and onions, it's gonna taste like garlic and onions, which will be delicious.
So delicious.
Unless you're Joey.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for him
I
not
know.
being able to eat garlic or onions.
Wait.
Blood thinners.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just that. I think it's also a stomach issue.
Yeah. Stomach issues suck. I'm sorry for anyone who has food allergies
Yeah.
or intolerances.
Dude, allergies do suck.
I know. You both are missing out. You on eggs and you on
I-
peanuts.
See, I'm actually sort of happy in some ways I'm allergic to eggs because it forced me to like eat a more wide variety of things because of it.
You're more aware. It's the
So-
thing, yeah.
My palate got bigger because of it, so I feel like it was
I
not a bad thing.
don't know how much eggs you would have eaten, like,
I guess
if you could.
I've always seen like eggs are your staple breakfast dish.
Not cereal.
Yeah, I was gonna say cereal was mine.
Yeah.
Well, cereal is mine, but
Toast.
You
Come on,
know,
Japan. Toast.
now because
Toast in your
of
mouth, yeah.
that cheesy Elder Scrolls cookbook I got,
Oh,
like I
yeah.
made stuff like apple porridge and stuff like that, and just like I'm just trying out different things, and like it's
Wait, you're saying you can now be in the grocery store as a professional chef and then
No.
show other people?
I am not professional. I'm like cooking for when my roommate and I cook for each other. I realize like how just different
Oh, yeah.
like levels of tolerance. Like I like my meat to be a bit more rare. He's far more like it has to be like well done, cooked all the way through. And at that
Well,
point, it's just too
certain-
dry for me. I just don't like it anymore, and it's
Mm.
Certain things do need to be cooked well done. Like steak, no. Steak should be eaten medium rare. Because that's just a better steak. But like chicken,
Yeah,
you
you
usually
want
want
that.
that fully cooked.
Yeah.
Anything ground beef, full
Fully
cooked.
cooked.
for me at least. Chicken, there's like a very like thin window of when like I really
Because
like
you can
it.
still make
Yeah.
it all the way cooked, but still be juicy.
Yeah.
Usually for me, it's been like higher temperatures, shorter periods. Seems to be like
I don't know.
where I get the most like still juicy while it's still
Yeah.
being cooked all the way through. Because the longer it goes on, the worse off it gets, in my opinion.
You might need to look up different methods of cooking chicken.
I do a lot of like on top of a stove, usually.
Yeah, sauteing.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like we're probably getting away from the show at this point. I did want to mention,
Not entirely, but
I did appreciate that a lot of the characters returned in different fashions, and it wasn't just a complete one-off vignettes. And they
Dragon.
The dragon came
Fair
back
enough.
a lot.
She
But
did become a waitress.
She did.
stuff like the one, I think she was a princess in the beginning, but she became a queen later on. Because apparently, these episodes had sometimes had a lot of time in between each episode. Essentially,
Yeah.
like early on we had the prince's like grandfather when he was still alive when she first comes for like a food, and then we move like 8 episodes further when we get the two royalty people from the land of like sand or something like that.
Mhm.
It's a very generic name for the desert, but and he's like crushing on her, and we find out through her like her grandfather or whatever has passed away in the last like 7 episodes, and like all these moments are like a bit more spread out than I thought they were.
Yeah.
Because even by then it's like, oh, Alet's been working here like 6 months or something by this point, when we've only seen like 7 episodes or something.
Right. Well, otherwise it'd be like, oh, we're feeding the same people. It's
Alright.
like, here, let's just bring in some new characters and dishes and
Well,
yeah.
Also, when the door only opens like once every week,
Yeah.
See, but I don't think it opens once a week at the restaurant, but I don't know that it opens once a week to each individual.
It does,
location.
because they would count 7 days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he would always tell them, like, just wait 7 days and the door will come back. And
Yeah.
Yeah, they do tell you that.
So, I mean,
Oh,
when you're having to wait that long to come back, the show can have a wider space time because,
Yeah.
you know.
One thing we never really figured out was, well, we heard stuff about like the chef's like grandfather who was the previous cook, and like his wife. We never heard too much about his parents in this, or like.
They mysteriously died, as
Yeah.
most anime parents.
Okay.
Or they have jobs overseas.
Pretty much. There was not
But at
really any
least-
back frame.
But at least the chef was an adult and wasn't like, I'm a teenager running this.
That's
Thank
what I really appreciated a
God.
lot.
Right, like he was like in
Yeah.
his 30s at least, so
Yeah.
it was like,
When he's had time to perfect his meals.
right. But
Yeah.
I respect that because, you know, it's like, yes, you do look like a chef. You know, you're not just like, oh, wait, you're like a 15-year-old running this place
Well,
and
Well, that's what they had the waitress for, to get that teenager in there.
But even with that, like at least it's different from what we're used to seeing, though.
Right.
Which is a nice change of pace in
like
general.
working where everyone seems like they're only in their late teens.
Yes, but that had more charm and different aesthetic
this-
behind it.
when you're doing food prep, it looks like, oh, you actually went to culinary school. Oh,
Well,
you
there's
actually have
also
business management.
Yeah.
different levels of food prep. Like, if you're doing full-on meals, like this guy is, like,
Yeah.
he has a full menu of, like 30, 40 different items that
Yeah.
he'll cook. Like, that takes a while to do. I don't know what working was, but, like, if it's a simple menu with, like, 7 items, yes, teenagers can handle that.
Working was like a Bob Evans.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, it's like a diner setting, really.
Yeah,
So it's
like,
not.
those are simple dishes
Yeah.
where teenagers can learn and perfect them relatively quickly. Or like in other shows where it's just like cafes and you're mostly making things like parfaits. That's just like getting out 7 ingredients and putting them together to look pretty.
But the thing is, working was not focusing on the food per se.
It was.
It was-
comedy routine.
It was more of a comedy, while
Yeah.
this, in general, is more focused on the food and then the people kind of coming in and
Yeah.
kind of talking about their experience or what politics or whatnot at times.
But
But
it's nice
yeah.
that they showed him do food prep, like, even, like, the night before and early in
Yeah.
the morning. Like, oh, I know what people will be coming. I know what they'll order.
Yeah.
This
Seems
takes
like they
overnight.
could only really do that on Fridays. They only know what their Saturday people are. Oh yeah, it's gonna be those people. I know that one guy is gonna order 7 of this dish.
I
Yeah.
better get started.
At least that really does help with
Yeah, it
regulars.
does.
So,
And I
but
did like that he took, like, the gold and whatever. I don't know quite how he, like, you know, did the transition from, like, gold and gems to, like, yen, but he always managed to do
yeah,
that and still keep his bills.
and some people kept tabs, right? Or some sort of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
tab,
The ones
yeah.
who obviously didn't come with money the first time they came.
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, that makes sense. Like,
Well, I think he also kind of evens things out with like his magical customers that he knows has a ton of money.
And one of them just traded him materials for his money later on.
oh
I think
yeah,
that's the
like you can
merchant
do, like,
or something.
food stuff. It's just
Yeah.
like, this makes sense.
I'm surprised this other employee who worked apparently the normal days of the week didn't just accidentally come in on Saturday and find out.
We'll be like, why aren't we open on Saturdays? It seems like a really good time to be open.
I see like smoke coming from the top of the building on Saturday.
It's
Yeah.
like they are open. I wonder if someone from the human world opened that door on a Saturday, they would go somewhere else.
See, I think that was like a back door. So, like,
They were underneath a building.
Yeah, they were.
they did have something above them,
It was
yeah.
a confectionery that
Yeah.
sold
But because
sweets.
he traded with that person
Yeah.
once and, like,
Yeah, that one episode they mentioned.
yeah, because
it.
they brought cookies in and
Yeah.
those looked yummy too. So,
I don't know. I just like maybe if someone from the human world opened the door on a Saturday, they would go to a different restaurant.
Maybe that could be
Yeah.
a season 2.
that would be interesting.
Humans eating at magical restaurants.
I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting this.
Let's try it.
My chef is a lizard man. What am I going to get?
Yeah. Something's still like squirming here. Okay. All right, might as well eat it.
Oh, I'm here. I guess I'll try it.
Yeah.
I think I might be allergic to this.
Yeah, I would watch this. These are good ideas here.
You want to write it down?
Yeah.
Pitch that.
Yeah, pitch that to NBC.
I only need about 400 million yen to make that happen.
Oh, this will be on season 2.
There could be a season 2, but it's
I can see it, but
probably a long shot.
Hey,
it's a long shot
there
now,
are
considering it's been
so
some time.
many dishes that could yet be discussed.
Mhm.
That
Like,
I
it would-
don't know what they are, but they exist.
Because like it was good with just one season, but they could do a season 2. Like, I doubt they will, but
I mean, a lot of shows they could always do a second season. It's
Yeah.
whether or not they need one, or,
Or
if,
should.
if you know it
Yeah.
did well enough to
That's the main reason
for
right
them to
there.
actually do it.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of shows that 3-4 years down the road, it's like, oh well, we can do another season. See how people.
God, Snafu's getting another season. I'm so happy.
oh my gosh, I know.
That's random as.
No,
But
and-
Snafu was great.
Two-
That-
I only remember watching season 1, but it was enjoyable.
2 ended on a cliffhanger, which then the author had to take like a break before he finished writing the last novel, and apparently the next one to come out is going to be the final chapter and like wrap everything up.
Well, their high
And the
school
animes and the-
career should be over by season 3.
I think they started in the last year in season 1 or something like that. Like, he's not new to high school in that series.
No.
I want to say
I'm
he's in
just
this
like-
last year or two.
I'm just saying, after season 3, his high school career should be over.
We'll also say, Restaurant Another World reminded me a lot of the game Valhalla. It's the one where you're like the bartender in like a neopunk sci-fi future. You keep getting like
Oh yeah.
just like
I
the setup
remember,
reminded me a lot
yeah.
of that.
Okay. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Not that this show really
I only know
went
Valhalla
into its
as one
politics,
thing.
but
Yeah.
It's not that.
Right?
Yeah, that's probably what most people are thinking of that haven't seen the game.
I'm just like, the world of the gods where warriors who died in battle go?
Right.
it's spelled in like
It-
BLH1-A. It's
Oh, so
Yeah.
elite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
so you're not actually thinking you're getting a fantasy game that's pretty explicitly like
Oh, I
Cyberpunk.
understand that, but I'm just saying, that's the only thing I know is Valhalla.
New mythology.
Yeah.
Well, Norse mythology specifically.
I am, like, quarter Norwegian. I know my Valhalla. If only I died in battle. Maybe I'll go there.
Good luck on
Well,
that now.
hopefully not. We'll see.
We
what
don't know
battles
what
you
the
start
future. We don't know what the future leads.
there could be plenty of fights in the future. There probably will be.
Even though I don't believe it's possible, a zombie apocalypse could happen.
True.
Oh, you want to end this? Good show. Check it out.
I
It's-
love the show.
It's a very relaxing show to watch at the end of the day.
And if you want to be hungry,
So I guess kind of going around the table here, Reed.
I give that 4 bags of popcorn and a plate of curry.
Ah, yes. Plate of curry, yes. David?
It was an enjoyable show. I enjoyed it. It's short, so you can get through it pretty quickly, and it's an easy watch. So I'd go for it. Yeah.
Jessica?
I liked the show. I would totally watch it again, and it just made me want
Daydream
to.
over food.
Yeah, watching it before work wasn't necessarily a good idea.
Made you hungry the
Made
rest of
me
the day.
hungry.
Yeah.
Well, we were eating during it, so
Yeah.
that helped.
Yes.
Yeah, but then you look down at your plate and go, "This isn't as good as that."
Yeah. It
It makes
really.
us want to perfect our meals that much more.
But
Yeah.
then having the time to do it,
Yeah, we don't have time.
or the ingredients. I don't have those ingredients.
You just have to go through a door to another world. There you go.
All right.
That's simple enough.
Yeah. Right.
That magical door is called the grocery store.
Ah, so you do know about it.
Yes.
You just gotta find one of those things that'll deliver you your groceries for free.
Yeah. For
Oh yeah, for free.
Yeah,
that's the
that's
important
it.
thing,
So
because
technically,
As
you're still
long
supposed
as
to
your bill is over $50.
it's usually the stipulation.
That's not that hard though.
All depends also if you're a
It
good
depends on
person,
how much
because you
groceries
are
you
supposed
need.
to tip.
Depends on how
Yeah.
often you do it. But Nicole?
I already said I like the show. I said that. And I said, great show. Watch. End of the day. Relaxing.
It's true.
So, yeah, I'm same as everyone else here. It needs a season 2, hopefully, but it's been
Not
some time.
necessary.
It's not necessary. It ended, but it will always be nice for more.
Unexpected, but a welcome surprise.
Yes.
Yes.
So, go watch it, guys. So for the next segment of what we've been watching, so
Firstly, I've been watching Yakuza Quartet, the 2008 one, and I'm probably going to watch Astra Lost in Space after that. So
good stuff.
For me, like Dr. Stone, Fire Force, and still need to finish Astra Lost in Space, but almost there.
I've been watching Food Wars, since that's going to be our next segment with food. And,
good segue there.
right,
Yeah.
Now we just gotta post these, make sure we do everything in the right order, and not somehow post Food Wars first.
Oh, it would be fun.
Because that would be really awkward and
Oh, yeah.
confusing.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. It's like we're not able to do anything and
Right?
we're doing it wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been pretty much focusing on right
Okay.
now, because
Caring about the
homework.
show. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Nicole.
I haven't really watched much anime this week, just Dr. Stone and whatever show we started that other day that I can't remember the name of. It's probably going to be stupid. Not as bad as that show about the mom MMORPG. Ugh, show was not good.
Prime material for discussion,
What
but
did you watch
Um,
yesterday?
oh yeah.
The only other show I was watching that was kind of dumb but amused me was like, I can't remember for sure the name, if it was Witchcraft Works.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I like that show. I'm watching that. Not great show, but very enjoyable. I like a show where a boy is called the princess. It's very amusing.
Yeah. That sounds pretty fun.
Just want to be that animal-eared witch with her magic rabbits. I love those rabbits.
So for me, for more recent shows, Dr. Stone, Vinland Saga,
Oh yeah, Vinland Saga. Great show.
that I've been set to the average. I want an average life show.
Oh.
That's the one that's not gonna be good, as far as I can tell.
It's average is
Seems like the
average.
girl version of Wise Man's Grandchild, but not necessarily as good.
Yeah.
I've watched neither of those.
Well, we'll see how this goes.
Another overpowered teenager.
Yeah.
Well, she's
Oh.
not a teenager yet. She's 12.
Yeah.
That makes everything so much better.
Thinking she's
Jeez.
average. But anyway, as for more like past shows, watching a show called Noin, or Noein. I don't know if
I've heard of it.
you've heard of it. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a lot of dimension and some time shenanigans in here, which
Time travel shenanigans are the worst.
it's not really time travel. It's more time stopping, but Yeah.
The days of Sci-Fi Channel having anime.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like Lily Cat back in the day, but it's another
Yeah,
Cat
time.
was good
Mondays.
though.
Yeah,
But Lily Cat is just a ripoff of like Alien or something.
it really is. Yeah, it's still not that I enjoyed that, but yeah, you're not
It was a
wrong.
very good show.
Um,
Although, movie actually, not show.
yeah, it is indeed a movie, not a show. But yeah, so I guess final thoughts, guys.
I thought we did those already.
Beside, like in general, like
No.
for shows that you're thinking of, or
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
all right there.
Yeah.
That's
Read.
yeah. Go read. All right. So yeah. Good.
There.
You could have just ended it there.
I could. So thanks for
Just
yeah.
cut off
We'll
that
fix
Okay,
it in
part.
post.
we'll end it this way. Like Reed said, thank you for, listening to us. Come back
Next time
next
for Food
time
Wars.
and,
We'll see you next week.
yeah. Or whatever.
God.